Yeah, I'm a bit of a strange character. I had a weird upbringing. The first 15 days of my life, I found out I spent in a military hospital research area clinic. Nobody could visit me, and they just took me and my mom and hauled us off to a wing in the hospital, and Tripler Hospital on Oahu. And I only cost $8. What a deal, right? Yeah, that's the cheapest. My mom's never recovered from that horrible accident, my conception and birth, and so yeah, I had a few problems when I was a kid. I used to wet the bed. My dad was a hardcore Marine and praying for a war. He joined when he was 15 and he went to Korea, and then they found out how old he was and sent him home, and he re-enlisted on his 17th birthday, forging the paper, and prayed for a war. He got 12 years of Vietnam. And those are the times when he went to boot camp twice. That was in the days when they said an average of 5 people per class died, usually a friendly fire, like when they'd shoot live rounds while you crawl on your belly underneath them. But anyway, my mom left my dad, and I didn't see him until I was like 21. But in between that time, I had a few problems. I wanted to be a rock star at age 4, so I must have been craving something, and either that or I just had a real strong thing for screaming girls. And but I was a bedwetter, and I didn't have any friends. But the bedwetting thing, I had a stepdad about age 6, Bill Beckman. They owned Beckman's place. He was a fucking prick, man. I was an overweight kid. He called me fat all the time. He told me if I lost 95 pounds, he'd buy me an electric guitar when I was like 7. I think I weighed like 75 pounds. It's like I'd be minus 25. I didn't do math, but they tried everything. They tried these shock sheets. You would put a plastic cover over your mattress, then you put this metal or foil or something sheet down. I remember the silver thing because I had to help make the bed when I did it. But I was a pretty hard sleeper, I guess. But my mom was a really hard sleeper. When I was a baby, there was a tsunami siren that went off, and they thought there was going to be a big tsunami. And I'm screaming my bloody head off, and the fire people and the police came and knocked the door down, and my mom was, sleeping like a zombie, and who didn't need any brains. And he said, "Oh, I didn't hear. Matt never makes a noise." She slept through it. She said, "Yes, he does every night. He screamed like this all night long." So I haven't slept much my entire life. But then the bedwetting thing comes in. And the shock sheets, they tried that on me. You connect these alligator clips to some electronic device that has a siren, and it sends out some electricity. So if the sheet gets wet, then you get a jolt. Oh, man. That trained me like Pavlov's dog, man. So anytime I feel any kind of urge, I got to get up. Even if it's the slightest inkling of... that still wouldn't cure me because I would sleep through it and then I'd flood the bed and shock the living crap out of me, and the siren's going off. My mom wouldn't wake up because she sleeps like the dead. No, my stepdad did, and he gave me all kinds of crap. A fat kid that wets the bed and who's really not wanted in the relationship with a hot mom. It's a bad combination. Sometimes I just think maybe I probably would have been better off if abortion was legal. And my mom's always been a strong supporter of abortion. I don't know why. She always told me, if you ever get anybody pregnant, I got money for that. We can get rid of it. Great. I didn't have any kids in my family. The 2 that were in my family died of cancer really young. And just a bunch of old ladies and men in suits. My step-grandfather was on a submarine for like 5 years, so you know what goes on there, right? They don't call him the humpback submarine for nothing, but he never slept with my grandmother. But so everybody has a weird story, I'm sure, but this is mine. And that's why I think I don't have any brothers or sisters. I'm an only child of 2 only children. I have no cousins. I have no aunts or uncles. And my mom doesn't either. And it makes, writing Christmas thank yous really simple. It's you pass a little note across the table or just say, hey, thanks. I didn't need this, but thank you. I'll never wear this, but I'm glad that's how you know me so well. So, somebody said, hey, tell us a little more about yourself. So there we go. So I think maybe I just wanted the adoration. And I had way too much energy. I was really hyper. I guess maybe because I didn't sleep. But I started playing drums when I was 5 years old. My grandpa played drums professionally. That's how he made a lot of money in the 40s. And I started playing drums and then taking lessons at age 7. And then I realized it's a lot of stuff. They even bought me a little drum kit. A lot of stuff to move around, so I started playing guitar because my friend Tom Cass had a cool amp and guitar, and mafia-type dad who looked like he would beat you up all the time. Dark shades and a dark mustache. Yeah, but I played guitar and kept myself busy all the time. I was always down. I lived my entire life pretty much, except for when I was married for like 20 years. I was out of the house. But spent my whole life in this basement doing this, except now I got some way to share it. And, I recorded my 37 records down here. I record the basic tracks at Bryce's over at the place I had my practice place. It's a pot store now, and I go in and tell that story. He's like, really? He said, yeah, right behind there, there's a sliding glass door. That was our control room, and right over there is another sliding glass door behind the wall that's... It was a vocal booth. But, I'm a little obsessive and don't sleep much. And then, so getting up to work in the movies was at 4 o'clock in the morning was easy. I was practically already up. I just went to the bathroom, put my clothes on, and left. Those were long days. It wore me out. And then I got a job with Portland Community College, and I'd never been outside that much, and walking around in the rain on the Sylvania campus. I remember it was on 9/11 I got hired, and I went to go talk to my boss, Michael Kewen, and he said, first Debbie called me and said, there's a perfect job for you. And I go, where? Well, here at Portland Community College, because she worked there. Well, what do you do? Well, you'd be walking around outside in the nice fresh air, and you'd be telling girls how to get to class. I go, well, it's like a guy. No, just listen. Finally, I get it out of her that as I'm watching the towers fall, that it would be writing parking tickets on the parking lots. I thought, well, I can do that. Not realizing that it's, I had a Goldwing at the time, a Honda, so I rode a motorcycle all the time, and I just didn't realize how wet I was going to get. And I had my rain gear to ride to work, and then I have this Columbia Sportswear. It's amazing stuff. Columbia Sportswear hiking rain gear. And I would wear pajamas underneath it, and I'd stay warm and dry. Then I'd change back into the almost dry motorcycle clothes and ride home. But I walked outside, and my feet were soaking from the boots, and just from being moist, I had turquoise fungus between my toes for years. And but I never missed a day. And I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and watch Chips, and then go to work. I love Chips, and I kept going all the way till the pandemic closes. I never took a day off except it was a holiday. Never called in sick. And I didn't sleep much. I was running on manic energy. So when it finally didn't have to go to work, I couldn't go to work. I slept till 10 o'clock in the morning that first day. And I think I just wore myself out. A few months later, I got this Bell's palsy thing. And, well, here I am. It's a year later. And and it's a beer later, too. Yeah, I've also discovered something else during this pandemic. It's Rogue Dreamland Lager, the beer for DIY people. And I am I'm proud to say I'm one of the original do-it-yourselfers. Anything I couldn't buy, I would always make, my whole life. I couldn't afford to pay graphic artists, but I wanted to be in the record business. Debbie gave me a copy of Photoshop, said, learn this and you will be free. She's right. Doing that and doing cable access TV opened my brain up. And going to college, Portland Community College for video. And just the whole bit. PCC back then was a whole different thing. It was really geared towards making people better people and helping people. Today it's more of a politically charged behavior modification institution. And, I kept saying that, well, I feel pretty good not being in the institution because, out here you got no rules, really. You can just be a natural man. But, I mean, you could be that way for a long time at Portland Community College, but the dynamics changed, and they got really expensive, and they got too big for really what they are. And it was a place to get people trained up to go to work. I didn't have a job. I was unemployable. I was an apartment manager, drug dealer, and a rock star. And I went to PCC, and it changed. I wanted to go to someplace every day, and I wanted to make money. They hired me for a lot of stuff at the college, and do video of the math teachers getting together on the weekend, which included this mountain of sandwiches and piles of donuts in the morning. It was almost better food than they fed you on a movie set or an infomercial set. I gained 40 pounds in about 7 months working on infomercials and movies because of the craft services table. But anyway, I haven't been there for, it's going to be, a year and a half, and I'm supposed to go back in the fall, and, well, we'll see what happens. So, because, I used to have some muscle. I used to lift, 50 pounds of paper like they're nothing. I can't do that now. And I used to deliver like 400 cases of paper with a hand truck and minivan every 10 weeks. And, I'm half the man I used to be. But anyway, so there's my story. I confessed I was a bedwetter and a very shy guy, and it's probably not my fault, but it is in a way. I could have rebelled, but I had my own private rebellion, I guess. And my voice to text thing. So if you don't like the way I type, you tell me to use spell check, man. It's like, no, those are typos, you dummy. If you can't figure that out, then the only solution is to hire an assistant, but I don't have the budget. I have no budget. I've never had a budget. So I like the other sites where it's just video and doing this. But I put this up for all of you on YouTube so you can kind of get to know me. You kind of like to get to know you. Yes, we would. So here I am. I'm at usmetal.com. That's my website. US Metal Records is my record label. And I have 41 albums out. I did 5 of them in the 80s and the rest of them from like 99 until 2015. And there's a whole bunch of acts. Madison Avenue, the Bloomstone Brothers, the East Side Stranglers, the Vultures, Dr. Mastermind, Evil Genius, Jody Ellis, my blues project called the Psychedelic Heavy Metal Blues Experience. And they sell really well. And but the guy I used to get my disc made, he went out of business in the pandemic, and he's nowhere to be found, and nobody can beat his prices. I got hooked up with him by the guy who retired as Universal's vice president, Andy McKay, who produced my Ravers record, and that's who taught me how to do a record label. Him and Shep Gordon. If you don't know who Shep is, look him up. he was my mentor on the phone for years. And I had the phone bill to prove it because we paid for long distance back then. And my ears have never stopped hearing that complaint. But anyway, okay, I'm going to go. I got things to do. And thank you for watching. And keep watching. If you have cable in the Portland area, if you go to my website, usmetal.com, go to Macoma Vision. That's my television enterprise. And this is all, I don't do any of this stuff for money. It's all just my obsession. But I turn in a lot of cable access shows, and all the air dates for those are on the Macoma Vision banner. Every banner, you click on that, and it'll take you to a different department. So that was a lot of work. I spent a lot of time down here in a moldy basement, and the air is much better down here now. That moldy 70-year-old furnace was full of this weird green grunge. And everything that had metal on it, like my studs and my costumes, they all had this weird green munch, and it would make me gag like I was going to throw up. And that's gone. But I'm still here with a droopy face. It's not so bad. People say, yeah, you look just normal. It's like, no, I don't. Look at me, man. I'm like a bone rack compared to what I was. I did say, I weighed 300 pounds. I did say, if I could lose a box of paper that I dropped on my foot, if I could just lose that off of my belly, I would still be a fat guy, but I'd be a lot lighter. Well, I'm wearing my skinny jeans, my fat girl skinny jeans. Yeah, I bought a bunch of clothes when I was starting to fast. But hey, I'll see you later. Go to usmetal.com. Keep rocking. Cheers.